Hey, it's Johara. Welcome back to my channel, to the Witchy Reader, and I'm going to do the reread book tag. Only 9 questions, a quick and easy video to film. So yay, let's do this, shall we? So number 1, let's assume you do reread if you're doing this tag. Where do you sit on the rereading scale from almost never to all the time? I'm closer to all the time. I mean, yeah, I read plenty of new books as well, but I love a good reread. I mean, I even bought tabs, so it'll be easier to find my favorite scenes if I don't want to reread the entire thing. But I do love to reread. I mean, I'm currently rereading Secrets for the millionth time in my life. And that may or may not be exaggeration, because I'm not sure at this point. I have an obsession. But at least I admit that I have an obsession. Stop nodding your head. I saw that. You sure you don't? But I do love to reread. I mean, I recently reread most of the books I own before I bought all the new ones. Because a lot of them I only reread once, or I haven't reread them in a long time, and I just wanted to reread them. And yeah, so I mean, most of the books that I do read end up being either 4 or 5 stars, so it's very disappointing for me when it is less. I mean, 3 stars is still a good rating. I just don't, you know, I mean, I usually love books, the books that I read. I mean, I know what I love, and I usually stay in my comfort zone. So because of that, it's easy for, so I'm like, this sounds interesting, I get it, I like it, it's either 4 or 5 star read. So, and then because of it, I loved it so much that I just want to reread it eventually. And I always manage to reread it if it ends up being a 4 or 5 star read. Number 2, has that changed over your reading life? No, I've always loved rereading. I mean, I was introduced to Harry Potter either 2nd or 3rd grade. I always say 2nd or 3rd grade because I don't remember which one, but I know it was around then. And then Secrets I was introduced in 4th grade. And those 2 series I've reread before. I mean, Secrets I've reread at least once a year since then. So yeah, I've always loved rereading. If there's a book that I loved, I would reread it. I mean, it's no different to me than rewatching your favorite TV show or movie. I mean, I'm currently rewatching Grey's Anatomy. I mean, it's not my favorite, it's not even close, but I do enjoy it, and I haven't rewatched it in a while, so at least the earlier seasons, so I decided to, why not, what the heck. So yeah. And there's number 3, when do you reread? Maybe immediately after finishing a book, or not until years later, or when the mood strikes. When the mood strikes, I mean, I don't wait that long, like, I don't read it like right away, but I don't read it years and years later. I will read it whenever I'm in the mood for it again, which it could take a year for that to happen, it could take 6 months, just whenever I'm in the mood to reread it. And I will reread it when the mood strikes. I mean, I'm a mood reader. I think a lot of people are. So yeah. Number 4, why do you reread books? Because I enjoy it. Because if I love something enough, then I'm going to want to reread it again. Especially since if you only read a book once, then after a while you're hardly gonna remember it. I mean, there's this one series I own. I read it once in my life when I was 17, Rot and Ruin. And I bought it because I want to reread it because I remembered enjoying it. I don't remember what I rated it because I didn't rate books back then, but I'm pretty sure, if from what I do remember, it was a 4-star read, but we'll see when I reread it how I feel about it then. But yeah, so you don't usually remember a book after a while, and I love these characters and these couples and these scenes. I absolutely love, and I love to reread it to enjoy that again. And if you're reading about a book that you loved living in during that time, then why not pick it up so you can be in that place again, in that world, in that story with these characters you love. But that's just my feelings on it. Number 5 is, yeah, that's what I'm on. How do you reread? Faster, slower, or just the best bits? Depends. I mean, rereads I feel like do go a little bit faster because you do already know what has happened, what's going to happen, so it does make it go by a little bit faster. And then I did get tabs because even though sometimes I'm going to want to reread the entire thing, and sometimes I'm just gonna want to reread my favorite parts. So that's why I got the tabs, so that I can tab my favorite parts, and so that every time, so in case I want to read just this one scene, I don't have to reread the entire scene, just reread the entire book just to read this one scene, and I can just find it by the color tab it's in. Because I know, like, when you're watching a movie or a TV show and you just want to watch this one scene, it's so easy to find the scene, because it's easier to remember, like, what season and what episode, or searching for it, and then or you can sometimes find it on YouTube and just watch it that way. But with books, you can't really do that. So that's why tabbing is so amazing, because I can just find the scene I'm looking for, and boom, I can reread the scene if I'm not in the mood to reread the entire book. But then other times I am in the mood to reread the entire book, so I'll reread the entire book. But it just depends on my mood, if I am just really in the mood to reread this one scene, or if I'm just really in the mood to reread the entire book. I think I'm on 6. Who or what do you reread more specifically? Which authors or genres or individual books? My favorites, I guess, but I guess like all my books are my favorites because they're all fantasy, or most of them are fantasy, except for my all-time favorite. And then anything fantasy, I obviously want to reread, and then and then Aaron Hunter. I bought every Aaron Hunter book except for the ones that recently come out, which I do plan on getting, and I haven't caught up with all of them yet, but I do plan to. And if I love them as much as I love Seekers, then I can see myself rereading them. Warriors, maybe a little bit, maybe, I don't know about Warriors since there's so many, but we'll see. What am I on? 8? No, 7. Is there a book you found better when you reread it? Monster High, I think. One of the Monster High series is, because I feel like I didn't give it, when I read it and found out what the real storyline was, I don't think I gave it the best chance after that, because it was kind of different than the movies, unlike the Monster High Girlfriends, which was just like the movies except just following different characters. This one was like Monster High School doesn't even exist yet, and all of these monsters have to fit in with normies and pretend to be normies so that they can live peacefully, or somewhat peacefully, I guess. But yeah, so, but the second time I reread it, I was like, this one is actually really good. Sure, it's different than Monster High, but it still has the same characters and stuff that we love. It's not as good as Girlfriends, and not as good as the franchise because of the differences, but I still do enjoy it. See, number 8, and one that was worse. I don't think there was one I read that I liked worse than the one that I don't think there was any book I reread and found it worse than the first time I reread it, or first time I read it. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Yeah, I can't think of a book that I reread and then didn't like anymore. I rated it a 4 or 5 stars for a reason, and if it's less than a 4 stars, I'm not going to reread it. Even if it's a 3 stars and I did enjoy it, I don't think I will reread a 3 stars just because it wasn't as good. And yeah, I don't know, or maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. 9. Which one book have you reread the most? Do I even need to say?
Seekers.
You're calling me out. Am I that transparent? Don't reply. Do not reply. I see you shaking your head over there. Am I that transparent? Yes, Seekers is the one I have reread the most. I've reread it at least once every year since being introduced to it in 4th grade, and I am now 21, out of school. So yeah, you can say I've reread it a lot. And I say at least once a year. Sometimes I read it twice a year just because I'm not obsessed. I see that look in your eye. I'm not obsessed. I can stop anytime I want, but I don't want to stop. So I said anytime I want to stop, but I don't want to stop. So I'm currently rereading it now. I'm on the first book. I love Seekers so much, and I will recommend it to you anytime I could. So please, I'm done with this video. So please like and subscribe and comment your answers, or if you want to do this tag, I tag you. I tag everyone to do this tag. And if you knew that the 9th one was going to be Seekers, comment down below. If you knew it was going to be Seekers before I said it was Seekers, comment down below, because I want to see if I really am that transparent. Stop nodding! Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.